Wario Land Shake It. It's the latest game entry into the long-running series Wario Land, which stars everybody anti-Mario Wario in his hunt for glorious treasure. The game takes place in an alternate universe where an evil pirate is taking over the world because of a mysterious treasure he has found. The only creature that escaped his wrath has convinced Wario to save his world in exchange for the very same treasure that the pirate has found. And you all know Wario. He loves to do treasure hunting. Although I only had a limited time with the game, I have to say I really enjoyed the gameplay in this one. And the controls are pretty sweet too. You can use the remote motions for many of the movements, but unlike all the other games, it doesn't overpower the game. Like for instance, shaking the remote will allow Wario to punch the ground so hard that a few pillars will actually raise to the sky, allowing you to reach areas you couldn't reach before. The other thing you can do with your remote is that if you grab a certain enemy or item, you can hold the one button and tilt your remote to the left or to the right to aim for where you want to throw. It can be a little difficult, but it shouldn't take you too long to master it. This is used to grab certain items that Wario can't reach by himself and to advance into the level. The only time I truly have a problem with the remote setup is when you are trying to control the wheelbarrow to where you want to go. Like the aiming, you tilt the remote left or to the right to steer the wheelbarrow. Now I found this really difficult to do. Maybe I would tilt it too far to the left, too far to the right, but I really couldn't get a hang of it. Although it didn't really distract from the gameplay, I think it's something that Nintendo should look into before its US release next month. Now as far as graphics are concerned, let's take a look at it and tell me with an honest face you did not like it. I mean, anybody that grew up with Nintendo or Sega in the late 80s, early 90s will really appreciate how it takes a throwback at the old school 2D graphic styles, and yet still manages to take some advantages of the Wii hardware. I mean, it's glorious, it's really well detailed, and there's no pixelation whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I have to say, it looks very much like the anime opening in the game. And in the age of video games where everything seems to be in 3D, it is refreshing to see a game that says, fuck no to 3D, I'm doing it 2D, get used to it. The music in the game is also very refreshing to hear. I mean, it may not be up to par with some of the other video games released today, but it fits the nature of the game pretty well, I might add. Just take a listen to it, and you'll see what I mean. Now let's talk about the gameplay for a minute. Like I said before, I only have a limited amount of time with the game. From what I gather, there are about 6 different parts of this world in this game, and each one of them has 4 levels and a boss battle. Within these 4 levels, there are about 3 to 4 different missions you would have to do, but are optional. At least 2 of them is get a certain amount of scroll and get to the end of a level within a certain amount of time after you've freed a captured prisoner. Like I said, these are optional, But if you want to get 100% completion in the game, you would have to do these missions. There are other hidden treasures all over the game, and you would have to find them if you want to get them. Like I said, you don't need to get every hidden treasure in these levels, but if you want to get 100% completion in the game, you have to go get them. It may sound a little tedious, but since this is a treasure hunting game, it's totally acceptable. As far as boss battles go, I only got the chance to play against the first boss. And like all first bosses, he was pretty easy, but there was actually a little bit of strategy to go through it. Well, hopefully as the game progresses, the bosses will become more challenging and will require a bit more strategies to defeat them. But as far as I was concerned with the first boss, I liked the battle. And I'm pretty sure I like all the other battles as well. If I were to give this game a grade right now, I would give it a solid B for a solid gameplay, great graphic that is a throwback to the old school 2D games, and very unique and tight controlling. Now it's only got to be because I didn't get to see the rest of the game. I mean, what other kind of enemies does this game have to offer? What other treasures are there hidden? And what other unique and crazy boss that Warrior would have to battle? But still, this game deserves a B, even if I did finish it, because it's that great of a game. If you're still on the fence about this game, just go on ahead and pre-order, because you're not going to be disappointed when it comes out in America, because I was not disappointed with the Japanese release.